The kingdom of Boletaria is a vicious place, overrun by demons and littered with the damned souls of would-be heroes. The king, in a fit of hubris and blind ambition, has awoken a slumbering horror which has enveloped his domain in a fog of death and decay. It will take a champion of a certain quality to rid the land of this all-consuming ancient evil. Strangely, one of those qualities is being dead. Demon's Souls is a dark fantasy focused on tactile combat and tactical character customization. It has some lofty concepts when it comes to online play, and an interesting take on life and death. The individual elements are easy to understand, but their relationship to one another may not be immediately obvious. Character creation is you selecting an origin, not a class, which will determine your starting gear and attributes, as well as full-featured face customization. However, nothing stops a priest from focusing on strength, or a knight on magic. It's easy enough to comprehend swinging swords, blocking blows, firing arrows, and casting spells with the shoulder buttons, but you'll also have to factor in additional info like stamina and stat bonuses. There's a number game to be sure. You may choose a weapon with an affinity for dexterity instead of strength, or decide that large shield with full damage mitigation isn't worth the stamina penalty twined to lugging around such a hefty piece of protection. Factor in magic wands, talismans for miracles, one-use items, pieces of armor, and weight limits, and packing for the journey becomes a huge undertaking. Can you bring crushing and stabbing weapons, and still be able to carry away a bounty of Orin treasure? With so many details to consider, whether you're dead or alive actually becomes a secondary consideration. The dead can still adventure in spirit form, albeit with half the hit points. There are only a handful of ways to reclaim one's flesh, including using a rare item or slaying a boss. But the benefits of being alive go beyond extra health. Living warriors can summon dead players over PSN to help them conquer their current world, which greatly vary in their environments and opposition, and can be tackled in any order after completing the first stage. If a joint attack can successfully vanquish a boss demon, the spirits of co-op companions are restored to life. Unfortunately, not everyone is a friendly ghost. The truly devious dead can break into a living player's game as a Black Phantom for a spot of player versus player combat, in a bid to take your life and get their own bodies back. Another bit of network functionality is the memento mori dotting the floor. Bloodstains show you how another adventurer, a real player, met his grisly fate, and may clue you in as to how to avoid it. Players can also leave and rate glowing messages, giving tips or even false information. It's basically the same game offline, it just feels a little more lonely. Black Phantoms or no, Demon's Souls is a hard game. There are a variety of enemies, traps, and environmental hazards, not the least of which is simply falling from a great height. Death, either spiritual or physical, results in the loss of all unspent souls, the game's experience and currency. But if you can make it back to where you perished without dying again, they can be recouped. To make permanent gains, items can be bought, weapons upgraded, and stats raised in the central hub, a place called the Nexus. It ties the game's 5 worlds together and is populated by a pitiful band of survivors peddling their wares in limbo.
With your souls, I can eke out a living.
Game Trailers has so far been playing the Asian release of the game, with full English voice acting and translated text. Atlus will officially bring Demon's Souls to North America this October with a new translation, some additional goodies, and all the pain, death, and glory that Boletaria can offer.